Hello, and welcome to the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast with Mike and Laurent. Mike's wearing a terrible hat, and it's Tuesday, January 11th. In this episode, the magic of the cup is magical. United play bad and win. AFCON, transfers. But first, Mike, hey, it's the second leg of the Carabao Cup. You're down 2. Do Spurs have a shot?
Nah, this trophy doesn't matter.
It's back!
Yeah, calcified Mike is back. No, we don't. We don't have a snowball's chance in hell. At home, down 2-0 to a far superior Chelsea side. We'll talk about why when we get into Tottenham's harrowing experience at home in the FA Cup.
But also good at the same time. Anyway, I'm going to do it. I'm going to try and break the record for scores. Here we go. 32 matches. 1, 2, 3, and go. Friday, Swindon Town 1, Man City 4. This is the Cole Palmer game. Prem soon come. He said it. It's going to be on T-shirts. Middlesbrough beat Mansfield Town. I don't know much about that. Hartlepool, Blackpool. The pool is empty. There's nothing in the pool. There's duty in the pool. Hartlepool moves on. Fulham will be Man City's opponent. They defeat Bristol City 1-0. Burnley lose to Huddersfield. Ooh, rough. Burnley. Not great, Bob. Coventry defeat Derby County. I told our friend BJ, don't bet on Derby, and you didn't because Derby have more important things on the line. Millwall, Crystal Palace, fun game. We said it would be, and it was. I watched it. Palace go through. My boy Aloisi, second half, incredible. In the giant killing, Cambridge United defeat Newcastle in a battle of rich, smart people versus dumb, poor people. Cambridge are the smart people. Newcastle are the dumb people. Peterborough, bottom of the championship, defeat Bristol Rovers. Barnsley 5, Barrow 4. This game was bananas.
Game of the weekend.
Barrow not doing well. Brighton defeat West Brom. I was worried, but Brighton were good. Leicester defeat Watford. No, not a big deal. Kidderminster Harriers, the lowest ranked team in the group. Is it safe for children or bad for children? I don't know what's going on.
Hide your children.
But Kittery is in the name. They defeat Reading, a championship team. Brentford smash Port Vale. Good name for Port Vale. Feels like it should be something in Game of Thrones. Wigan Athletic, you fuckers. You defeat my beloved Blackburn Rovers. Of course, Wigan advance in the third round because they're evil. City are going to meet them in 2 rounds and lose. QPR win on penalties 8-7 over Rotherham. Wow. Boreham Wood over Wimbledon. Poor old Wimbledon. Everton 3, Hull City 2. They were down in his team. Everton came back, probably saving Rafa Benitez's job. Chelsea are not nice to Chesterfield and smash them. Plymouth Argyle and their Sox defeat Birmingham City. Southampton down a man, but defeat Swansea 3-2. That was probably a barn burner. In the South Coast, Bournemouth, Yeovil Town. Bournemouth go through. Luton over Harrogate Town. Don't know what's going on there. Stoke, Leyton Orient. Still nothing.
Sorry, Eddie Hearn.
Yeah, I don't think he owns that team anymore. Cardiff City, in an empty stadium because Wales has different rules, defeats Preston North End. Norwich, scraped by Charlton. Ooh, that was bad. Wolves defeat Sheffield. They keep their run going after beating United. West Ham defeat Leeds. Leeds were not good in this game, but West Ham were. Tottenham looked like they were good in this game, beating the Shrimps 3-1, but they were down a goal and left it late. Liverpool defeat Shrewsbury. I don't know where Shrewsbury is. Somewhere in England, in the middle there.
And in the biggest game of the weekend.
Nottingham Forest over Arsenal.
Woo!
Forest, on a man with a great beard, defeat Arsenal. Arsenal don't show up. They look like they're Mormons wearing their white uniform. I like the thing behind it. They didn't play well. Not much there. And then United fucking get lucky against Aston Villa. This could be a whole VAR episode if it was 2 years ago. I still fucking hate VAR. I don't want it. We don't need it. Who is it for? Fuck off. We'll go through the 4th round later. Mike, what do you got?
That was awesome. There were a couple of things I wanted to talk about. First of all, Kidderminster coming from behind, 1-0 down against Reading. I have a soft spot for Reading, as I've said a number of times on the show, but my love for Kidderminster could not be denied. So they finish they go into halftime 1-0, and they get 2 goals late on. Kidderminster still alive. I have a new favorite team. Very excited.
Buy them for $10 million.
We could buy them for $10. I want to. Yeah, I mean, Arsenal didn't show up, but they didn't care. Like, they even look at the lineup they put out. They had a very, very sparse grouping, and Nottingham Forest came and they said, "No, we're gonna fucking, you're in our house. We're gonna take this from you," and they did. and full marks to them. We alluded to Spurs, so I'll just get it over with and get on with the rest of the fucking show. Down 1-0 to Morecambe. It was
the Shrimps.
It was a goal that was a combination of Matt Doherty and Jaffa Tenganga's faults. Stop me if you've heard that before. And they looked like shit. And then Harry Kane came on with Harry Winks and with Lucas Moura, I believe. Or Skip.
It was a 3-man change. It was awesome. It was like, get the fuck out of here. We got this.
Get out of here. Tanguy Ndombele is one of the players taken off. He walks off the field, sulking, booed by the entire 62,000 seat stadium.
And then Conte doesn't defend him.
That had to be his last appearance in a Tottenham shirt, and I will not be sad to see him go. Again, I've said it almost
He may play well
time.
Someplace else.
He will. He'll play somewhere. He just looks like he actually doesn't even like playing. He's just the best kid on the block.
You know what? Here's what I would do. If I'm Newcastle, I buy him and I just let him do what he wants.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Because he's better than Almiron.
So let's dive a little bit deeper into why Tottenham needed Harry Kane and they needed Lucas Moura and they needed Harry Winks to save them against Morecambe in the FA Cup.
No, it wasn't. It was Skip that let Winks come forward.
Well, yeah, but Winks hit the free.
No, I understand that. It was an incredible
goal. But the point that I'm making is that we talk a lot on this show about the top of the table and the differences between
depth. That's my depth.
There you go. The differences between Manchester City and Liverpool, as you say many, many times. Liverpool's 1-11 plus Anfield plus Klopp, all that is
better than anyone's.
Better than anyone. Damn near unstoppable. And I've never disagreed with you. But 1-18, City is far better, miles better, and it's showing through. Yep. So if you look a little bit further down the table, and Chelsea is included in this group now.
Yeah, they're probably 1-15.
Chelsea, Manchester United are 1-15. Liverpool is 1-13, right?
Maybe. Well,
but their quality is higher, but their depth is not as much. And so Tottenham is like 1-4.
Yeah, they're not that good. Yeah,
and so
although Joe Rodon played, he seemed okay.
No, I don't. No. I mean, I hate to give the kid shit. He's just,
not ready. It's okay.
No, he's not. But like, we spent 15-20 million on him. How much was Diaz? 40?
I don't remember.
Right, but like it's a combination of
City's Diaz.
Yeah.
75.
Okay, well, fine. And then we weren't going to get him, but
big number.
No, but I remember like Mourinho saying that's the guy you have to get, and we get, it's like, I want Ruben Diaz. No, we have Ruben Diaz at home. Like, no, you don't. You have Joe Rodon, right? Listen, Romero being hurt has exposed, frankly, the problems that Tottenham have always had the last 5 years, and its depth.
They never replaced Alderweireld and Vertonghen ever.
Right, still. Right, or Eriksson.
Or Eriksson.
So. Yeah, I mean, and so that's why when we talk about the top 4 race and everybody's, banging on United and this and they can't do anything right and whatever, they're going to finish ahead of Spurs. They're going to finish ahead of West Ham. And that is the reason why. They're going to fall ass backwards into wins because of the games that are in the condensed part of the schedule, which West Ham is going to have to deal with. Tottenham, thankfully, hopefully won't to a degree because they're out of the NIT. But they will have the ability to run an Edinson Cavani out there, which he's huge. Better than everybody on Tottenham not named Harry Kane. Literally, he would be Tottenham's second best player. And he's scraps.
He's not better than Sonny. Sorry. I know you're down on Sonny.
Yeah, no,
I know. Just trust me.
Fine.
He'll show up. In a counterattacking game, he doesn't look good. Son is not good when it's a non-counterattacking game and you have to break people down. He's not really a passer. He just wants to go.
He has before.
No, I understand.
I know what his game is, but
he's out of form. It comes and goes. It happens.
Yeah, well, I do love Sonny. I give him a lot of shit, but I always.
Can I bounce around? There's games that I specifically want to call out.
I want to talk about Spurs any fucking more.
The Barrow Barnsley game. This game is sitting at 2-0 to Barnsley in the 42nd minute. Then in the last, in the last 12 minutes of this game, from the 83rd minute, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 goals. This game went bonkers. But good games, like really, really good goals. So just wanted to call that one out. And the reason why I call out Barnsley is that is the Billy Bean led Barnsley, who had Daryl DK last year. So a little American team tie-in. He was there. We should probably bounce around to, let's see what else I want to bounce around to. I do want to bounce around to Crystal Palace Millwall.
Oh, yeah.
Really good, fun game. The kits that Crystal Palace had were incredible. Elise came on second half and completely bossed this game into the last 12 minutes when Crystal Palace, who have had the problems of falling apart down the stretch, really hung on against a really game Millwall. It's about as English as you can get. Fantastic game. If you can go hunt down highlights to that, you should. The thing that's funny about the Paris Arsenal, the Nottingham Forest Arsenal game is you want it to be a better game. It just was a bad game. Like Arsenal had no shots on target, only hit 10 shots in the game.
That plays into Forest's hands, right? Like
they were at home, to be fair.
Well, sure, but if Arsenal are bossing the game, I'm sorry, if it's an attractive game, then Arsenal are bossing the game, and Arsenal wins that 2-3-0, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that it was mucked up, of course, plays to the lesser team. And yeah, of course, the Tottenham in me, despite that I'm wearing red head to toe right now, Roll Tide, is happy that Arsenal lost, but at the same time, like, you want to see attractive football when you watch, and this was
the funny thing about Forest is there are some fun friends of American football and prior seasons. Ethan Horvath is on that team. Graben used to play at Crystal Palace. Jack Colback of the famous Jack Colback of Newcastle, who at one time the coach said, if I had 9 Jack Colbacks, we wouldn't be in this problem. So he was in the game famously. But Forest, a little known fact for the friends, and if you don't know this, please look it up. 2-time European champions. They've got 2 stars on their crest under Brian Clough. This is one of the famous names in the legends and annals of English football that has fallen off and has not been in the Premier League since 1993 when their drunk coach finally bowed out and died a year later in Brian Clough. He is famous of Damned United. Look him up. Brian Clough, 1978-79 champion, came up 2 years later, won the league, defeated Liverpool. This is like Leicester twice. So
yeah, well, it's Leicester before there were super teams, right? And so
before super teams, but Liverpool had won the league 4 times in 6 years.
Sure,
but it wasn't the money wasn't.
No. Near it. Well, that's what I mean. It was more plausible, right? It wasn't a literal. It may have felt and sounded like Goliath, but financially, it was not an actual Goliath, right?
No, it wasn't close.
They are amongst Newcastle and like Blackburn Rovers and Nottingham Forest. Some of these, like you said, in the annals.
We've been getting them. Like Leeds had that sitting on them, but I would say right now, most of the famous teams are actually in the Premier League. I guess Sunderland right now is a big team that's sort of floating out there. They're still playing. They're still out there, but they're in hard times. There are a couple
Millwall
others.
Sort of counts, I suppose.
Millwall's famous, but not. They were never
for the on-field product,
right? Not for.
So that's your little lesson in the annals of the Premier League.
Annals?
In the Neil Mulpay nether regions of the Premier League.
My guy. There was some quality shithousing going on in that West Brom game from good old Neil Mulpay. Neck grabs, falling down. Good stuff.
I want to go through some of the next round fixtures, unless you have the one that sticks out to me the most. Other than Tottenham Brighton is Everton Brentford. I'm excited for that. I think that is going to be really an interesting one.
We should give some shrift to Man United Aston Villa. They get a goal early. This is Rangnick after. Just a complete sieve of a team. Knives out. They're after Rangnick. This is what happens at Man United. This is a big team. If you don't know the history of Man United have been through this before. They win the European Cup in 1968 with George Best, famous name, an alcoholic. But go through most of the 70s and 80s as a big team. They were always as big as Liverpool, if not bigger. but they were a cup team. They were Hollywood. They never could get it back together again and basically spend the 70s and 80s as Man United, a big team, but not winning. They win FA Cups now and again. So United are back. The outlier was Ferguson. They're back to where they were. They're kind of a cup team. They're kind of where they were. Ferguson was special, just like Klopp is special and Pep is special.
Yeah.
I mean, we the Premier League is lucky to have two. But in this game, of course, United fans booed Steve Gerrard. That's fine. But this is a VAR cock up. I mean, just incredible. A little scruffy goal in front of the net that I'm not sure is one of the subjective offside where is someone in the way. They go to 7 replays over and over again. Did the guy touch it? Did he not touch it? The ball never, Ollie Watkins' foot doesn't change the flight of the ball. Ings knees it in, no call. They look at it forever and ever and ever. Then they go to the screen, and it's never explained why the goal is chalked off, just that they took 4 minutes to chalk it off for no reason. One of the things that I've really liked, and I didn't realize this, that I've really liked about the FA Cup and the games I've watched is when it has not been in a Premier League ground, there has been no VAR. And let me tell you, watching games with no VAR is fucking awesome. Because you can feel the flow. The goals are goals. The handballs, guys throw their hands up. The ball goes out of play. They keep going. So
let me ask you, because I didn't get to see any. I had family time. I watched Spurs, but obviously that was at a Premier League ground. Was there any difference you could feel in the fourth official in offside calls? Because they usually let things go.
It's so much better. They call it.
Okay.
They're not doing that pause thing.
Yeah.
Where like I think if I'm United, I'm super pissed off. Lindelof gets clattered, almost breaks his fucking hip bone in a offside where Danny Ings is clearly offside, but they let it play out. Right? So this is I know I sound like a broken record. Trust me on this one. It's so much better without VAR.
I'm not arguing that. I don't think I'd be hard pressed to find somebody that would argue for VAR at this point. I think
I think the punditry does call for VAR. They want it.
Yeah.
Because I think that they're players and they're kind of disconnected from this really blows. Because we're still arguing the same. I mean, anyway, we're not going to tread over the same thing.
No. I think real quick. I think the problem I have with get away from the actual implementation and the lines and the armpits and all that shit.
No matter what, it sucks.
No, I know. But the continuation, right? Like,
that's bad too.
The continuation of that play, the Danny Ings play you just said, if he generates a corner kick and then they score from that corner kick, they don't call it back.
Nope.
So now you're talking out of both sides of your mouth right off the bat.
Yep.
Because that play should have never been allowed to continue.
Yep.
And there's a goal that stands that is technically legal because it wasn't called offside when it was offside.
It's just there's an air, there's a breath, there's a feeling that it's right. There's a way that it's played. There's a free-flowing, the game continues. These VAR checks are like timeouts. I just found it to be just maybe it's because I'm not used to it. I just found it to be so much better. And the championship should never get it. I don't care. If you're the championship, never get VAR. Stay pure. Stay golden, pony boy.
Stay golden. So we move on. Let me go back to the Everton-Brentford game. Does Rafa Benitez manage this game on February 5th?
Yes, he's fine.
They're not
going anywhere. Against Brentford, yeah, he's fine.
Okay.
He's not going anywhere.
Well, he's going to lose to Brentford, I think. But
are you going to bet that one? Everton-Brentford's a good one.
I'm not going to be money left.
At Goodison, Brentford is not as good away.
They're not. They are very toothless on the road, so that'll be an interesting thing.
The fun thing is Middlesbrough is very active in the transfer window. They get United at home. It's Chris Wilder, who with Sheffield beat United. He's a really good coach, and he will expose this team. Middlesbrough have made moves. I believe that they got Balogun from Arsenal on loan already. So Middlesbrough are making a push. We're in the middle of the transfer window. They are on let's see. They beat Mansfield. They beat Blackpool. They beat Forest. They beat Bournemouth. They beat Swansea. They beat Huddersfield. They are unbeaten in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Unbeaten in 6 since Wilder came on. They're on the move. This is a real team. Middlesbrough of Robbie Mustoe's team. Very famous, good, sort of like made up the numbers in the Premier League for most of the 90s and some of the 2000s. Good team. So I don't think United get an easy draw, to be fair.
Kidderminster hosting West Ham.
That's good for them.
Come on, Kidderminster. You get the home game. I'm excited for them.
That's so good.
Yeah, that's
the Harriers.
Fun one. Yeah. Now they sound, when you say that, they sound more like kid touchers than they did before. I don't know why.
Why, a Harrier? Maybe it's because they make the airplanes there.
Yeah, maybe. Not a whole lot to write home about in the rest of the draw. Man City get former Premier League friends Fulham. That should not be much of an issue, especially because Fulham, while they were in the Premier League, one of the main reasons they are no longer is because I respect the hell out of this. They have refused to bend a knee. They were very much in the Leeds form where they're like, we're going to play the way we want to play. We're going to try and dictate it to you. The problem with that, they didn't do a lot of dictating. So I think City cruises there. And then probably
they've fallen off. They've been the best team in the league, but the Marco Silva experiment, as anyone who has had Marco Silva as their coach, see Wolves, see Watford. He's really good at first. And then somewhere about 15 games in, everything falls apart.
Right. And so, this is not my lily white heart here, but I mean, I think far and away the most interesting game of the draw is
for this pod.
Certainly for this pod, but it's going to be Tottenham Brighton. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. And I mean, look, going into the game on Wednesday against Chelsea, the more I think about it, the shine on Conte is off, and I don't mean to say that any way disparagingly about Antonio Conte.
There's no players. He doesn't have the players.
Well, here's what happens, right? Imagine thinking it's like a rookie baseball player who comes up and all of a sudden he's hitting 450, and then the pitchers, the league adjusts to him. How do you adjust back, right? So in this example, Tottenham's change of style was effectively that hot start, the new manager, push or whatever. The game against Liverpool comes to mind where they were bossing it. They were really going after them. They were pushing things around. Conte was out managing Klopp like crazy. Now you give it 2 weeks, everybody goes, oh, that's what they're doing. Okay. And the problem with that is that Tottenham needs to readjust now. Well, how do you do that? You sign some players. That's how you do that, because the players that they have, as I already alluded to, are just not up for it. They're just not really capable of doing it. Ben Davies is doing a fine job trying to hold this shit together with dog hair and duct tape, man, but it's not his job.
Yeah, I wonder if the Eriksen thing will happen. No,
he said he's not going to come back before next season. I think the World Cup is when he's actually targeting.
Yeah, but how's he going to get in that squad without playing?
Oh, Christian Eriksen on Denmark?
Denmark was good without him.
They were good without him, but it's like, hey, do you want your best, most talented player back? Or do you want to just try and go again without him? By the way, you know whose place he's going to fucking take? Højbjerg's. Fuck that guy.
You're done with him, huh?
I'm done with everybody.
Yeah, they're kind of it's kind of a tough row right now. There is a little bit of a dog day. I ran into a friend of mine who watches the Giants. I went to see the Giants on Sunday, and he's a Liverpool guy. He's like, "Oh, congrats." I'm like, "Come on, man. It's not over. It can't be over." Yeah. But I guess it's kind of over. I mean, City's not going to drop.
Yeah, I mean, look,
City's not going to drop 3 games.
Well, there's more fatigue than usual this year because of all the stoppages and the postponements, and everything's just. This is the reprieve. This is always the thing you look forward to, and in the festive period, it's always furious, and every single day. And there was the stop-start that grinded up more on people. I think.
I think the weird thing is just City didn't lose. You're not supposed to go undefeated in the festive period.
You're not. That's actually why they put it like that.
So insane. It's like
because of the chaos.
Let's sort of take a step back into context and be like, they just put the gas down.
Yeah.
And just we're cutting through you.
Right.
Everyone. And they had some tough games. Like I think they could have lost at Brentford or drew, but City never draw. They either are bad and lose, They don't draw. And so you need that, like, you need those cuts to sort of give points to people, right? That's how Liverpool got pulled back in 18-19. They didn't lose, they just drew, and City just never. Once City gets moving, it is a train that is very difficult to stop.
Yeah, no, it is. So we are 10 days in, or a third of the way through the transfer period.
The old transfer window, the machine. I got to get the old transfer window machine.
Yeah, go for it. There's been 2 moves of note. Kieran Trippier, my friend, is back in the Premier League. This is not front page news. We've known this for a little bit. He has gone to Newcastle. Surprised not to see him in the team, but I think we will see him this coming weekend. And of more interest, on loan, again, a Premier League old boy, Philippe Coutinho of Liverpool fame, mostly for being sold for $150 million, also known as the man who built Liverpool.
Yes.
He is back. He is with Stevie G, ironically, and Aston Villa. So he played with Stevie G towards the end of his career. So that relationship, I'm sure, is a positive one. And it's interesting because he's what I think they wanted Buendia to be in this team. They spent a third of the Grealish money on Buendia, and
I thought Buendia has been getting better. I don't.
Yeah, no. I'm not shitting on Buendia, but he certainly has not been as advertised. And so I think this. I don't think it's supplanting him. I don't think it's like 1 for 1. I think it's to kind of augment and help him kind of move forward and grow into the role. So especially on a loan spell.
Can I ask you about Bergwijn being sent away?
Yeah, no, I can't. I will drive him, and I'm sure many others will.
You're done with him.
Yeah,
apparently Spurs rejected $15 million from Ajax.
Yeah, because what happens with Daniel Levy is he's so blockheaded that he refuses to accept failure when he fails, which is often.
Coupled with, of course, Traore going to come to Spurs as a wingback.
Yeah.
Which at this point, it's not going to happen.
At this point, I welcome it just because it'll be interesting to watch.
He's fucking fun as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not worried too much about that. But you've got to move players on. Right.
Yeah. And I think that change would be good because I think Traore's problem is finishing. His crossing is meh, but given how he plays and given Kane should at least be able to be a non-coconut cracked Jimenez, right?
Well, exactly. I was going to say, think about as Wolves and Adama were kind of ascending together. And Traore was creating havoc on all these players, on all these sides, I should say. He was crossing it in. Pedro Neto was wonderful. And as soon as he went down and Jimenez was gone, there was frankly me and you in the box to try and finish these. So his crossing's not that good, but he will be pushing it into Harry Kane and Heung-min Son. And I do think that could be the thing that shifts.
And he still leads. He still leads the league in dribbles by a lot. He's
I'm sure it's not even close.
Way over the top. He's still so way over the top. Just looking at some other names, some French players, incomings at Arsenal. No, soft rumor of Wijnaldum. That's not going to happen. Because that would mean that Liverpool lets Wijnaldum. It's a loan, right? I don't think that's going to happen.
For Coutinho
would Liverpool let Wijnaldum go to Arsenal? I don't know if Wijnaldum was a loan to PSG.
No, he was a free transfer. I'm pretty
sure. Okay, free. There you go. Wood to Burnley, nice little player. He improves them. Chris Wood, nice little 9 to 15 goal scorer. Tarkowski's out of contract. He could leave Burnley. Maybe Burnley thinks they're done. They're going to cash in. All their guys are old. Who knows? We don't know. And Ndombele. It's so far nothing crazy. 70% of these rumors are complete, utter, and total bullshit, drummed up by agents. There's not an Adam Schefter that's even plugged in. They kind of like the guy is Fabrizio, and he's kind of just says obvious things that have happened, but he does it really well, to be fair. But it's not really anything going on. I really wish that like the guys from MLB Trade Rumors and Hockey Trade Rumors would do transfers. That would be fucking awesome.
Just so wide, right? Like, and here's the other thing. Like, And as I look at all the tables around the top 5 leagues, PSG's up by 11 points.
It's bad.
Serie A is tight, right?
Yeah.
And so Inter isn't going to be selling a lot of these big names. These like, think about like the MLB trade deadline. Or any, NBA, NHL. There's not any big names in the shop window, really. There's reclamation projects. There's a Tanguy and Ndombele. There's a Dele Alli, right? There's Luka Dean.
The double jeopardy of relegation makes it different than American sports.
But also, aside from Serie A, I know you don't want to say it, but 4 of the top 5 leagues in Europe are over, right? So
listen, Dortmund are only 6 points behind Bayern Munich. I mean, Spain. Yeah, Spain's done. No one thinks Sevilla's going to get there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Spain's done. Italy's the only one that's tight, right?
And it's
by the
not.
Way, so Dortmund. No, they're 6.5 points back because they are 6 points back and 23 goals back. Okay, so that's comfortably a 6.5 point difference.
You know what's funny? Yeah, I mean, the funny thing is I mean, City were not with Bayern, and now they are neck and neck for goal difference per 90.
Right,
expected goal difference per 90. So in terms of quality, City are just gone.
Not only do you not have the sellers, you don't have, and I keep making baseball references on this show.
That's fine.
So be it. It's that Yankees-Red Sox Cold War arms race, if you will. They did something. Fuck, we have to do something, right? So, so there's not. I mean, look, you would have that in Italy, but I mean, realistically, you've got Paratici knocking on every door saying, "Are you selling this player? Are you selling this player?" So there, a lot of teams are in the mix still there. So they're sort of in the opposite direction, and there's really not a lot of in-demand players that are moving. Vlahovic from Fiorentina is a name that we've heard a lot over the summer, but Arsenal are moving for him, and he's like, "I'm fine, thank you." So there's not.
Well,
really...
I think the difference here is the thing that force moves in European soccer are players out of contract who you want to move before you get nothing for them. So you don't want in football, you don't want to let someone reach free agency ever. You want to keep re-signing them, which what Spurs were really good at for a long time. I think Levy was sort of ahead of the game in that he would give these guys contract after contract, so it never got to the end.
They overachieved at a young age, though.
Right. But it did save their ass, right? Like by doing that and tricking Kane, they've kept Kane.
Oh, it kept costs down completely.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. So it is a move, but I think the agents have caught up to it. This is one of these other counter wars. The agents are sort of going like, I ain't signing shit. Mm-hmm. I'm letting it run down. And you're seeing players do that now, letting their contracts run down. I think another key piece to remember is, aside from your Messis and Ronaldos, the yearly salaries for these players are not comparable to MLS numbers. Like Insigne went from Napoli to Toronto, right? Insigne is a national team starter.
Well, and that's where,
for the Azzurri.
But I mean, that's a big deal. Like everything else, follow the money, right? And so you're not getting here's another baseball reference, because I was drinking with my father watching old late 90s Yankees highlights. You're not getting a David Justice on July 31st, right? You're not getting this player who's 35 and is still a huge contributor for you. That player is going, oh, I have one big contract left. I'm going to MLS. Because I'm just gonna sit on a beach half the week.
Yeah, but you don't. There's no beaches in Toronto. So
I was gonna say Toronto's
I think there is a
into Miami.
He did not go to Miami.
Yeah. By the way, I drove past their stadium a couple weeks ago. It's pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck, that team was a disaster. I kind of knew. I kind of had a feeling that Beckham is a paper tiger. It doesn't actually have the money to fund that team. But yeah, I think that the transfer window is interesting. I'm more interested to see these sort of the teams kicking on. Like, you really get a sense Villa's like, we're kicking on. They feel good about what they have in Gerrard. I think they want to keep him. I think they probably have 18 months to be like, we're Aston Villa. Don't go to Liverpool when Klopp retires, kind of thing. Cat.
As a Liverpool fan,
I'm interested in what Crystal Palace does. I'm interested in where Leicester goes, what happens with Everton. I think there's a lot of space here for side stories, right? Like, can Brighton. I know Brighton won't find a name for a striker that I know, but I would like to see Eddie Nketiah go there. I have heard there are loans going to Southampton for young players that are the big teams letting their young players go and trusting the process of certain teams that have good infrastructure. Your Leeds, like, who doesn't want to send their young players to Leeds under Bielsa, right? Like those types of things. So I think that stuff's still interesting. The Champions League is still out there in terms of competitive. And I think that's another thing to think about when you think about the European football calendar. Yeah, some of these leagues are done, but we do have the knockout tournament. Basically, we've got a 162 game schedule with the NCAA tournament built into it.
That's exactly what it is. It's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Right. So there's still to come March Madness. There's still round of 16. There's still FA Cup. By the way, there is a Commissioner's Cup coming to the NBA. So it's starting to reflect back on each other. How they get the players to give a shit about that, I have no idea.
Oh my God. Imagine going from, my poor load management to here's more games. Oh goodness.
No, they're going to come.
But at the same time, I mean, it's load management in England too, right? Like
they do
look at the side that Arsenal had. So yeah, I mean, at that point, will they play in the quarterfinals and semifinals and cup final of the whatever the hell Commissioner's Cup? Yeah, I bet they will.
To take a step back though, the difference is, and I do like this about football, they do not market the players, they market the teams. Like, you're not even supposed to give a shit if X player is playing, except for the two. I guess Ronaldo and Messi still are about as big as you can get. But
sure, but if
I get to see Real Madrid, I don't care if Benzema plays.
Yep,
I went to see Real.
Experience in the stadium experience, which is, and I'm not going to say it. College football is the only thing that's close in America.
Yeah, and again, that's another sport where the players literally don't matter.
Right, exactly.
They're actually completely disposable, and we don't care about them
by design
at all. Yeah, it's disgusting.
Which, speaking of,
we're
recording this during halftime of the national championship game. That's why I'm wearing this stupid hat, because a long time ago.
What is the score, young man?
At the moment,
is it Army versus Notre Dame? Is it?
At the start of the second half, it is 9-6 Bama Roll Tide. But that's why I'm wearing this stupid hat. I told you off camera. I'll tell you the story. Many moons ago, I was friends with a guy who's a big Bama fan who was worried about Notre Dame. I told him,
when someone says they're a big Bama fan, I hear in my head, I'm a fan of the Klan.
Yeah, maybe. He's a nice kid, though. I don't really talk to him too much anymore. Not so much on that plane, but he's a good dude. And so he was telling me that he was genuinely worried about seeing Notre Dame in the national title game with Nick Saban's Alabama. And for the English folks who listen to the show, I've already lost you, but that's okay. I tell him
there's a lot of parallels.
I tell him that I am so sure that Notre Dame is shit that if they do meet in the national title game, I will dress, and I said, you can quote me on this, I will dress like Bear fucking Bryant, who famously is one of the most famous college coaches of all time, is famous for his houndstooth hat. So that is what I am wearing right now. I had a checkered, you'd actually love this. I had a checkered suit on, red Alabama tie, the checkered hat. Bama beat the shit out of Notre Dame. We went to an Irish bar on Long Island. We had a great time. One of my other buddies kept calling me Willie Loman the entire time.
Even better.
He never got his name in the papers. It was terrific. So yeah, that is our dated reference of the week. But yeah, I mean, that's really all we've got.
Well, let's think about what we've got to look forward to. We have the Premier League will return this weekend. We'll probably talk about these on Thursday, but just to keep the fires burning, my friend, you've got Chelsea midweek. You've got Arsenal on Sunday.
I haven't turned my attention to Arsenal yet. I'm
and not only that, City play Chelsea on Saturday. So there's some
a big week.
There's this Cortine Sarasso Cup. Shout out to the Intercity League, Fred Sarasso.
Hey, Fred.
Who doesn't like Mike? He doesn't like you.
Fred,
you've never met him.
I don't like Mike.
Yeah.
Imagine waking up every day and having to be me, motherfucker. I don't want to hear it from Fred.
I think you trigger him like douchebag Long Island guys who bothered him his whole life. So there's that. A secret underrated derby, Brighton Crystal Palace on Friday, also really good. So I've got a lot of games to make up for. And then Aston Villa rematch versus Man United. Little bad blood at this time at Villa Stadium. So that's exciting. I think we can wrap it up. We're searching for things to talk about. We did not talk about AFCON. I have a take.
We'll talk about it on Thursday. We're going to come out.
No, I got it. Wait, very quickly. It's not being covered. It's kind of fucked up. So ESPN FC went 4 segments in before they mentioned it. There has been a lot of talk about, hey, African-based players or players of African national descent, why don't you just stay home and not go? And they're like, dude, it's the fucking it's the European Cup for Africa. Fuck you, I'm going. By the way, it's very sweaty. It's a lot of moisture and a lot of bad penalties. And I mean some wild penalties. Look in the stands. I think the thing that I found really interesting, and I thought about this for a second, and I don't know what it means, but this is my feeling. It feels fucking amazing to see, because I watched Cameroon versus Burkina Faso in Cameroon. This has been delayed and held off 3 times already. So they've tried to have this tournament 3 times. A stadium of black players playing another black team in a stadium full of black people. There's something great about it, and I can't numerate it, and it feels good. It's like, you got your own fucking thing. Look at you go. Good. You deserve it.
No, it's
awesome.
Look, in the context of, I mean, I remember when Bob Bradley was coaching Egypt, that country was in the midst of a civil war, and they came together over this. We talk about this stupid fucking game and how much we try to, display how much it means to us. We're Americans watching a British game thousands of miles away.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. We actually genuinely don't have any real context, right? You've lived in England. I've been to a few games over there.
Yeah.
We understand the culture. We don't live and immerse ourselves in it. We try to from this side of the pond.
I do as much as I can.
And so keep going one step further. Now you're in Africa, where generally speaking, the poverty line is even, I guess, what that would technically be.
But
higher,
it's not
right?
about the money. It's about the
joy.
No, it's about people representing.
What I'm saying is
go
that
ahead.
I don't mean that everybody is poor or rich or whatever. What I'm saying is that it's almost like it's the SEC. It means more. It's not some bullshit slogan. It does. It unites a fucking country during a civil war. Like, that's the best illustrator I can give of this. Right.
The other famous one, there was a civil war. Didier Drogba literally stopped one in Cote d'Ivoire. Yeah. That happened. That was real.
Right.
He literally brokered the peace. A football player.
So, and by the way, let's pretend for a second that there aren't some of the absolute, like you said, Didier Drogba for a second, Mo Salah, Sadio Mane, Edouard Mendy, right off the top of my head, 3 completely world-class players, right?
Riyad Mahrez, Syed Benrahma.
But so it's not okay. Well, we've fallen off, but it's not the point. Is that that there's no talent there? This is compelling, just as almost as much as the Euros was from a talent standpoint,
for sure.
And so to have them do their own, I tell you right now, it's better than the fucking Gold Cup.
It's definitely better than a Gold Cup,
right?
By a lot.
So
by a lot. Yeah, by a lot.
So so you have,
but they do have funny. There is funny things like goalkeeping can be really bad. Like,
somewhat
just
optional.
You get these weird, like, there's a position for a country that's weak or they're not into that, and you're just like, oh, this is bad. Like, I think Senegal will be fine, because I think another piece that's interesting, and I'll wrap up, is the institutional power of France. France literally supplies these teams with players because of their immigration. Because of the other, right, but they're born there and back and forth. But the training, the institutional stuff of the Clermont, and how France has pushed down a lot of training, a lot of local boys clubs, a lot of stuff where people are like, hey, France has really high taxes. Yeah, and it's inefficient, but it does get these immigrant kids or second generation kids. They play for their countries and they've got trained in France.
It won them a World Cup. All right, those taxes won them a World Cup.
Yeah, the other one is, France literally put more players in the World Cup than any country in the world.
Mm-hmm.
They some had like 47 or 48 different players from France.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. That was the Squeaky Bum Time Podcast. We did cover everything, as far as I know, with Mike Salerno and Laurent Cortines. We are the football wing of the Chop Sports Network, who just finished their first year Proud of the boys, proud to be a part of the group. We record on Tuesdays and Fridays, so be sure to subscribe wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. And if you're listening on Apple, please rate or review the show because we're stuck on 21 and I'm tired of it.